welcome back to another episode of Season 2 at the Art of Football 365. And tonight we're joined by Freeport High School graduate and current football player at the University of Northern Iowa. So if you haven't already, Gronk spike the subscribe button and hit the like button as many times as Patty Mahomes threw a touchdown this past season, even though Tom Brady made it look easy in that Super Bowl. As on top of that, leave a comment like Troy Aikman does every time Joe Buck makes no sense. So this is going to be a great one tonight, being able to hear the story of Dion's football career and the path that he took to be the man he is today. I know Gannon's pretty close growing up with Dion, and I actually played some baseball with him when we were younger. But other than that, I haven't had much contact with him, so this will be nice to sit back and get to hear about his story growing up. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's for down these questions. It's going to be fun. Me and Dion in classes in high school together and just seeing him firsthand. And the man's an athlete. I mean, we're going to talk into it, dive into this, but watching him run, let's dive into these questions. So first, Dion, just kind of want you to introduce yourself. You know, who are you as a football player and just as a normal everyday person, and just so our audience can gain a little perspective on you.
Okay, well, as a football player, everybody know I work as hard as I can, day in and day out, on the field, off the field, But it's more about like school here. So like school first, football after. But when it come down to it, when you get the chance to be on that field, hey, you got to go out there and show out, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can say especially like Gannon and I have no idea what that Division I experience is like. I'm sure it's a whole different animal, especially in football. It's a sport that very physically demanding. So that kind of leads me to my question. Has football always been your favorite sport? And did you know right away that you could be special in this game? And obviously, did you have any other sports that play a role in shaping you into a better football player?
Okay, well, football wasn't always my first love, and that's surprising. But yeah, I actually loved baseball. When I was younger growing up, baseball was my go-to. Like, I had a lot of friends that helped me with my craft of the sport, and that's pretty much how I went with that. And so what was the second question you said?
It was pretty much like, did you know right away that you could be special in the game of football once you realized you could turn it on and take it to the next level?
Actually, I wasn't really thinking about football like that. So I really didn't really think about it until my brothers really showed me that football was a sport that I could be in, because I had baseball and I had track at the time. So like, I didn't really think football was the go-to for me. But then as I grew up, I just knew that I actually love the sport because it's like the environment around it. You got not only the fans, you got friends. And I say the fans really is a big part of college football, because it plays a big role in football today now with COVID being out.
Yeah, for sure.
It kind of takes away a lot from our team, but at the same time, we got to go out there and grind.
For sure.
Yeah. This is going to be a kind of a two-part question here. I'm going to let you answer the first part, and then I'm going to dive into the second one. So this first question is, how did your experience at Freeport, both academically and athletically, prepare you for college? I know nothing can compare to the Division I level, but just kind of give us a little insight about your time at Freeport.
Oh, I love Freeport, to be honest, especially like when I was there. Like I said, I had y'all, to be honest. I had my friends. My friends really helped me get through school. And, sports was just there. And I know every time I get on the field or the track, whatever sport I'm in, you just got to go out there and give it your all. And, well, I did have teachers that believed in me, and a lot of teachers that helped me with my recruiting in high school. So a big shout out to them for getting me where I am today.
Yeah, I remember some of those times I missed samples class and math class your senior year by junior year.
For real.
Those are some good times, man. But yeah, just you talked on track there. I just kind of want to give everybody a little rundown of what Dion accomplished in high school on track. A lot of people, if you're not around the Freeport area, you kind of don't know because you just see him labeled as the Division I football player, but this man could absolutely fly. So I'm probably going to miss some of these, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Dion is a 3-time state title winner. He's got 1 in the 110 hurdles, 2 in the 300 hurdles. He's got 8 medals overall at state and 4 in just the 2017 season. And then in 2017, Freeport was also the state champ pretty much single-handedly on Dion's back with the help from Jared Allison. He also has an IHSA state record for the 300 hurdles. He's also the most decorated track athlete in Freeport history. In 2017, some people believe that track performance when he medaled in 4 separate events was the best single track state meet ever performance by an athlete. So, just I kind of wanted to talk about that and, just touch on your track experience and your historical career at Freeport because it was nuts. I mean, I know when you were down at the state meet, we were all checking in back at Freeport when we were in school. And, I mean, you can fly. Just kind of talk about your track experience.
Well, it had to be nuts. You just described him like Usain Bolt.
It's insane what this guy's done. And he's playing football now. But, yeah, just talk about your track life a little bit, Dion.
Oh, yeah. So my track life, my freshman year, I went downstate and I was hyped to be in state. And I didn't realize that I was going to be a hurdler because I was always a sprinter in high school. And my coach always told me, he was like, well, put it this way. If we can have your speed into hurdling, if we add that all together, you could be a great athlete. And I was like, hey, let's try it. And my first year, I made it to state. The 110 hurdles, I got 5th in. And the 300 hurdles, I had got 2nd. So in just years to go, my sophomore year, I ended up winning state in both of them. And my junior year, I lost in the 110s to one of my close friends, Brett Dennis. He runs at Illinois now, so he is a good athlete. I ain't even gonna lie. And that was the year, my junior year was the year I broke the state record. But going back to my senior year, I ended up pulling my hamstring and I couldn't run in any of my events. So that kind of hurt me a little bit, but I just took that on to college with football.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of, like you mentioned, your recruiting process a little bit, how your teachers kind of helped you a little bit with that. But I want to ask you, kind of describe your recruiting process and give our younger audience some insight on how to handle and deal with the tough and the ups and downs of the recruiting process, and kind of just give those kids a little bit of description on how to go through that process.
Okay, so my recruiting process, I had a lot of FBS schools for track, but I only had FCS schools for football, which is still D1, but it's just like I want to say like a D league, if you really want to think of it that way.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like a 1A, 1B type thing.
Yeah, that's how it is. And I went through a lot of adversity in high school with the recruiting because I had committed to Western Illinois because my brother was there. And my brother told me that pretty much he was only going to be there for 1 year. So make your decision off that. You know you're going to end up being alone after the first year anyway. So just pick what school you think is best for you. Mm-hmm. And that's when I went back to the point where I was thinking about the coaches. I was like, which coach is better, this and that, who got the winning records. And that plays a big factor into things. And I come to find out that Western Illinois' head coach had left right before I had signed. And that completely changed my mind completely. And I was like, I think UNI is a better fit for me. And for the youngins out there, just know that you're going to go through a lot of stuff. You have to go through it. But at the end of the day, it's your decision on where you want to play, where you want to be successfully in the academics and all that. That had a big role in it. For
sure, yeah. Kind of talking about that with some of your FBS stuff, that kind of leads me into the next question. Because I know you had power schools, but the track scholarship and football are a little bit different with the money and that type of stuff. So, kind of just walk us through what was the reason why you ended up ultimately deciding football over track, even though at times you were more successful at track.
Okay, the reason I decided that like football is for me because I knew the things you get from track and like the injuries that come with it, and plus like I just fell in love with football more as I grew up in high school, and I want to say that football has always been my passion. I loved baseball too, but I had the chance actually to play baseball and football at Western Illinois, so that had a big role in that too. But coming here, my coach told me that I could run track and play football, which I am still trying to run track. And my coach just told me he want me to just participate in that in the spring season. But since we have a spring football season, that I can't actually run right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's got to be pretty tough. I mean, especially as a D1 school, not really knowing when your season's going to take place and all that COVID issues. I mean, that's got to be pretty tough. But after going through high school football and entering into the Division I college world, who would you say some of your inspirations or role models are that kind of shaped your game?
Okay, so I speaking of athletes, I want to say my brothers, of course, because they really taught me the game of football. And if you want to say outside of my brothers and family, I ain't gonna lie, my friends were super athletic, so they taught me a lot too. They helped me compete at the highest levels. And I also had like other people, as in like Reggie Bush. You know, you got to watch your star players. I had Tavon Austin, Tyrann Matthews. I used to be a defensive player. I ain't gonna lie, coming here and knowing that I couldn't play both ways, it kind of like shifted my mind completely. Now I'm only at receiver and playing special teams with punt return and kick return.
Yeah, just kind of dive in a little bit to more of that. I want to talk about a little more with your high school stuff with some coaches and some friends. You know, give a couple examples specifically here. I kind of want to hear some of those.
Oh, okay. So like Marquis Strong, one of my closest friends still to today, he pushed me day in, day out. Robert Walker, he pushed me on the track, but he always, you know, they always motivated me, gave me the right inspirations to keep on going. And everything in life, it's like you got to know that it might be the small things over here. The small things are the best things for you because, like, you got your family, friends, all that comes into a big factor on how you make your decisions in life. And the reason I made the decision to come to UNI really was because of my friends and my family, because I know my family's close and I know that I want all my friends and family to be able to come to my games. So that really is what it's about.
Yeah, and then just today, as we posted on our TikTok, one of the later highlights is one of the craziest plays I've ever seen, and it was Dion catching the ball down the middle of the field, bouncing off a guy, his insane bounce, flipping over, and just throwing right in the end zone. So kind of give us a little feeling of that, you know, just being a kid from Freeport, Illinois, with 30,000 people in the town, and then making the sixth play on SportsCenter top 10, you know, is that always a dream? And just kind of how did that blow up? And within 24 hours, how did that just kind of give us a little rundown how that all happened so quick?
Okay, so I ain't gonna lie, that was the most wildest thing I've ever been through. So at the time, everything was blocked out. I couldn't even hear the fans screaming at all. And that's wild that happened like that. So I knew the play before it even happened. My coach called it, and I was like, okay, Will, there's only two people you can throw to in this coverage that they're running. And it's rather me or one of the other receivers on our team, Isaiah Weston. He's a super good athlete, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. Probably will be in the NFL soon. But I just calmed down, you know, ran my route. And as I seen the ball in the air, I knew I was gonna catch it because the dude was a good 5 yards behind me. But when he had hit me, I didn't know what to think. Because, like, I'm like, okay, first off, I'm going over. I'm about to flip, and I don't know how I'm about to land. So this could be real bad or good. You never know how it goes. And when I landed on him, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm like, did anything on my body hit the ground? But if you really go back and do, like, a replay on that, my head actually hit the ground. But at the time, you know, like, they don't have a booth review for the FCS. So, like, they pretty much told us, they was like, hey, we going with it. That's a touchdown. And you'd be surprised how fast things blow up from smaller schools. Because FBS, they probably would have booth reviewed and it'd have been overturned. But still, like, just knowing that I had caught that pass and after the game was over, one of my friends on the football team, he was like, bro, you about to be famous. Like, no lie. I was like, there's no chance. And the next morning, I end up getting a call from ESPN, and they're like, this might be the play of the year. And I'm like, oh, snap. And at the time, it was only, top six? It was the sixth play?
Yeah, it was sixth.
Yeah. And as time went on, it ended up being the number one play of the year of college football. And it's wild.
That is crazy.
I didn't even know that about the head story.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
That's kind of crazy. You just admitted it. That's pretty awesome right there. Just to be like, oh yeah, I was down. It is what it is. But
Hey, the game was done. The play was done right after he ran to the end zone.
yeah, I can say what
I
I want
counted
to say
the
now.
touchdown any day.
Oh, for sure. And kind of leads me into my question. After being on ESPN Top 10, what are your goals for the future? What's your plan? What's Deion Mcshane's career look like for the next couple years?
Oh, yes, sir. Hold on, I actually wrote this down, and I got my playbook with me. So our coaches told us to write all of our goals in our booklets or on the cover of our pages. And my main goal is to stay poised with everything I do, mostly stay healthy because you got to be healthy to play. I played last year and got injured, and a lot of people don't know that, but I tore my meniscus and I was out for 7 games and had to return in the playoffs, but I was still injured in the playoffs and couldn't play at my full potential. So a few goals I have set for this year is break the 1,000-yard mark for receiving, have 1,000 yards in the season, have at least 300 punt return yards, 500 in kick return, and overall want at least 8 touchdowns, and I'm trying to be All-American. So, like, those goals to achieve these goals, I got to stay on top of work because, like, our offensive coordinator, we just found out today in practice that he got a new job. His new job is with the Packers now. He's about to be coaching with the Packers. And I'm like, oh, wow. So, like, he came in with a whole new playbook. And I didn't, like, every year you come with a new playbook. So you have to study. Like, if you don't study, you will get behind so easily. It's the small things that matter, like I said earlier.
No, for sure. And before I let Gannon ask his question, I want to add in there, how has COVID-19 impacted your mental and physical health in relation to your football career?
Okay, COVID kind of threw off things because, like, I was out. I didn't have COVID, but I was exposed. Like, and it's so easy to be exposed. I was out for a good 20 days in practice, and that's a big part of practice. You miss all the installs. You have to go in. I couldn't go into the dome, but my coaches, I was on Zoom with them every day and trying to learn things. And it is completely different because when I came back, I still had to run the routes, and like that had a big factor in playing in the game. But as time went on, I just calmed down and stayed focused, hours and hours of studying, trying to get the plays down and just going in to watch film. That's how it went. And now that I learned the playbook completely, I'm back starting and I'm ready to get it cracking Friday. Friday.
Yeah. I bet you're excited for that, man. And it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time since last fall for you guys being done. But just kind of, we got more and more younger viewers tuning into this podcast. What's some advice for some people back home in some of the smaller areas that aren't getting exposure right now? They're going through some tough times with COVID and all that. And just, what would you say to them for some expertise and just kind of getting through all this? And what do you think they should do?
I would say keep your head up. Stay on the track that you want to be. It's always about you at the end because, like, the only way you're going to be great is you putting time into yourself and time into what you want to become. And that helped me a lot with what I did and how I grew up. So I would like to say, keep your head up, keep on forward. Because, everybody's going to go through adversity and you just got to know how to deal with it, to be honest, because things are going to hit you left and right. Things that hit me, schoolwork, football, and you got to find time for your friends, like stuff like that. So
for sure.
Not only keep your head up, stay on your schoolwork. Like, you got to have your schoolwork to do anything because schoolwork teaches you a life lesson. And when you get to college, it can make or break you because if you don't have the grades, you're not going to play. I'm going to let you know that right now.
It's time management skills is what it is.
For real, time management has a big factor in college. Big factor.
Yeah, for sure. I think a couple of those quotes that you mentioned in there are going to be absolutely perfect to throw in a little TikTok montage. I think you're sounding pretty good, and you're making a lot of sense for these younger athletes. And I think you're a big inspiration for them kids, especially in the 815 area. So it's pretty awesome. But what has the game of football done for you that can never be taken away from you? How has it impacted your future and who you are as a man today?
Okay, football taught me a lot about like teamwork, not only teamwork, but like how I want to be a dad, to be honest, because
all right, that's a unique take.
You can't like give up, because if you give up, your kids gonna they gonna see you as, oh, my dad, he didn't finish. Like, I want to be the dad that has no regrets, and I want my kids to know that I did everything I can for them and my family and my friends. Like, to be honest.
No, that's an interesting take, because I mean, we haven't heard that before, and obviously you got a big family back home, and I know you got a lot of people cheering for you and stuff, so that's cool to hear. But kind of this off-topic question here, what you guys preparing for next Friday against South Dakota State? Kind of walk us through a day in the life of Deion Mcshane as a D1 athlete, kind of from getting up to going to sleep with your workouts, and just give people actually what the time and effort that goes into your everyday schedule.
Okay, so like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we have lifting in the morning at 6. So I usually go to sleep around 10 o'clock at night just so I can be up and refreshed for stuff. But after my lift, I would go do a little studying with my coach, go over some film. I would do a study table. You got to get your schoolwork and stay on top of that. And after schoolwork, I would go to class. After class, come back to the dome and do some more study with my coach. Then we would have like our meetings, and our meetings will go from, I would say, 2:15 to probably like 3:30-ish. 3:45 is zero period, and we have practice from 3:45 till 6 p.m. And after that, you got to find time to eat, do your homework, and then get to bed early.
It's a lot, man. It feels like
roller coaster of a day.
But I know, it's a lot of stuff that goes into that, but that just makes all the rewards and all the stats and all the cool awards that you get, like the Sports Center stuff. And you guys are preseason ranked, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a cool podcast talking to you about this. Kind of, we always wrap this up
in there quick.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, I want to ask you, Dion, you got any fun facts about you that people don't know? Anything weird, crazy, just something that you are pretty good at that not many people know?
Belly bouncing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know that I'm a big fisher, man. I go fishing all the time. Gannon know, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah. You also blew up on a YouTube video in high school, belly bouncing. Remember that one?
Oh my goodness. Pretzel Pride Network. I wonder, is that still going?
Yeah, I actually went down memory lane the other day, and I kind of just scrolled through. I showed my roommate some of the old videos, and oh man, it's 4 or 5 years could change a lot of people, man. It's kind of scary to go back. You got some time, I'd go back and watch them. They're funny though. It gets good laughs. It seems like those high school days have been 10 years ago, to be honest.
Man, feels so long.
Yeah, but do you have any advice for us with this podcast? Any special guests? I know with your brothers, there's a lot of people there, but just, any feedback, suggestions, just anything that we can do to improve this.
Oh, y'all doing a great job, bro. Stay on top of this, because, hey, my friends heard of this. He was like, dang. He said, I want to be on it. I'm like, dang, they definitely take y'all in. And I do have a special guest for y'all, but he said he wants to come on the next episode y'all have. And it'll be Ellerson Smith, who is about to be drafted into the NFL.
I'm all in on that.
Yes, sir.
You give him our contact information, and we'll be ready for that conversation ASAP.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. I got y'all.
Appreciate that, man. We greatly appreciate you joining us on this week's episode. I feel like we learned a lot about you, who you are as a player, but more importantly as a person. So good luck in the upcoming season. We wish you the best, and you just mentioned the NFL. I know we're going to see you in there one day, so you keep grinding. Sir. We're going to see you in that league one day.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me. I want to have a shout-out to the 815. I love y'all. I appreciate everything y'all do for me. And shout-out to the people in Cedar Falls, because they're the ones that's here with me recently right now. And I want to say go Panthers and much love.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to wrap it up too, man. Dion, it's fun because it's always, I know you always bring good energy into a room, no matter where you're at, even though we're through Zoom right now. Your smile, you always have good energy, no matter what time of day it is. You're always awake and you're always talking. You always put people in a good mood, man. And I miss that. I haven't seen you in a while, dude. So hopefully we can link up when we're back in Freeport. But, you know, it's nice to have a fellow Pretzel alum on here. You're doing great things and succeeding, brother. And it makes me happy to see that. And I know people back home are. So best of luck next week against South Dakota State. I'll definitely be tuning in and watching. But, you know, until then, we'll catch you guys next week. We got one special guest already lined up here. We got a lot of stuff coming up. And keep viewing, liking, and subscribing our YouTube. And I'll check out our TikTok and all of our social media.
Go give us
pages.
a follow on TikTok. We're up and running on TikTok now. So
yeah.
Yes, sir.
I feel like we're up and running on everything nowadays. But appreciate you, Dion.
Yeah, thanks again, Dion.